let's give them something to cheer for now.
This makes no sense at any level in flag football. Why would you do that?
Time now for the College Football Inquirer. Here's Pat, Russ, and Dan.
All right, welcome to the pod, and we're going to get some football, but I wanted to start with this story. LeBron James Jr., Bronny James to the world, has committed and will play college basketball next season. USC he is signed with. He played the last couple years at Sierra Canyon, which is like the elite of the elite private schools. Like I think like the Kardashians went there.
Yeah.
Among other people. And powerhouse program. But LeBron James Jr. is going to stay in LA, which I kind of predicted, but then didn't predict. I was fascinated by this.
Wait a minute. You kind of predicted, but didn't predict.
I never thought he'd leave LA. I was really convinced he was going to go to USC, but as we will get to, it's not like he's walking in and becoming a starter.
No.
So that was the part that I was like, geez, is he really going to take a school where, you know, they're returning Boogie Ellis as a senior. He started all 33 games last year, really good player. And they have Isaiah Collier, who's a 6'3" guard, just like Bronny, and the number one player in the whole country.
Yeah.
So does that scare him away? But then it was sort of like, really? Like Bronny's going to like Eugene, Oregon? And they're like, you know, like he's kind of near the Nike. Like, is it that important? Ohio State was certainly an option, you know, and he did spend a lot of years living in Cleveland and, you know, or Akron. They always lived in Akron. But I kind of thought LA was his thing. But do the playing time thing. So look, we're going to unpack a lot here because there's a whole bunch of really interesting things, including LeBron James Sr. as college basketball parent. So we'll get to that. But just initially, just for the facts, Bronny is very good, but he's not Isaiah Collier. He's not his dad, which is the problem. Like he can't be your dad. Ranked 26th in the class in Rivals, 26th by 247. Others have him a little higher, you know, in the teens. He made the McDonald's All-American game, but of course he was. Regardless, he's going to enter, I think, is the most talked about recruit in a long time. There was a lot of hype about Zion, but this is going to be pretty interesting. So just in general, Pat, what does it mean for USC to get Bronny James?
I think it could be, I'm not going to say more trouble than it's worth, but I think it's going to be tricky. Because as you said, he's certainly not his dad, and he's not going to be the best freshman point guard. And where's he going to fit in? And there's just going to be this big spotlight of, well, where's Bronny? When's Bronny going to play? How much is Bronny going to play? Oh, that's what he plays like. Okay, well, that's not like his dad. Well, no, it's nothing like his dad at all. But do you want, I mean, yes, you want a guy who's good. Now, I'll admit, I have not seen him play in person since last May, so it's been a year. Perhaps he's gotten a lot better. I've seen him 3 times, I believe. He was a solid player who just kind of was out there the 3 times I saw him play. Now, he was on the floor with DJ Wagner a couple times. He was on the floor with Amani Bates. Some big time talents who kind of dominated the floor, and he was just kind of another part of it out there. So if he's gotten better, good. Maybe then he should be ranked in the top 25 or 26 or whatever you said his ranking was nationally. But the expectation based on his last name should be tempered. And then how do you handle the politics or whatever about being LeBron James's son, who's maybe spending more time on the bench than he is on the court? And how does, as you mentioned, LeBron himself handle that?
Yeah, the decision makes all the sense in the world. It does to stay in LA. I wonder, I mean, I guess, for USC, like Pat said, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this, because you're going to get obviously a lot of exposure, but I mean, USC doesn't really need exposure, right? I mean, there's a lot of other schools in the country that he would go on to, and they would have been kind of needed that exposure and that attention. USC really doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I mean, it's I don't know, with NIL and all this stuff now, a school like USC that's located in such a big city, and what we've seen Lincoln Riley do with the football team, bringing in all these new players and all these stars like Caleb Williams and stuff. It's like a pro team out there. It kind of reminds me of some professional team. Now you have Bronny added to the mix. It's interesting what's going out there in LA.
Well, I think what USC provides is the purest form of NIL opportunity, right? Bronny has 7.1 million Instagram followers. His dad is he's on his way to becoming a billionaire. They ain't caring about pay to play.
No.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever USC basketball could offer doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's more about, am I in a platform and a market that I want to be in? So, Bronny can make as much money as he wants just through social media. And if you look, he does he has some deals, but he's not like super active on he's not pitching everything on his Instagram. He's doing some commercials, but not a million things. But I do think USC basketball, I think this is good exposure-wise for USC basketball. And it's not football. They do need USC basketball is one of the weirdest programs ever. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
There's 2 major programs in all of Los Angeles. And UCLA, they lose their way at times, but they often, when they get the right coach, they're a top 5 program, and they are right now, or top, whatever you want to call them. UCLA is going really well, and USC has the potential to be that. And through the years, they've had these moments. Henry Bibby got them going, and then it didn't. And Tim Floyd was on the verge, and Andy Enfield's done I'm looking at this record. A ton of 20-win seasons, but two round of 64 losses the last 2 years. So there's these bursts of action, and then not. I don't know whether Bronny makes USC cool going forward or improves it. I would imagine it doesn't hurt. I think probably every high school basketball player in the country is going to be pretty aware of where Bronny James is going to school. The hype is going to be really interesting. I imagine they're going to get a whole bunch of television games off of this. They already, I think, were kind of a favorite to win the league. Like I said, Isaiah Collier's going there. He's the best player in the country, or one of the top 2 who are going to play college basketball. So, yeah, are they going to be on ESPN more? Are they going to get primetime on Cheddar News? This was not announced on Cheddar News. Why wasn't it? Where is gas station TV? Pac-12? Could have been you could have test driven it, seen how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly. This could have been the Pump 4 exclusive.
Pump 4 News. Yeah, Pump 4 live game. So that part's going to be really interesting because a lot of people are going to tune in to watch LeBron James's kid, and LeBron's going to be sitting courtside and stuff like that as much as possible. I think that was they're a tight family.
Yeah.
You know, I always say this about LeBron. He was obviously a great player, one of the top 2 players probably of all time. And I get a lot of people, they're the Jordan acolytes don't want to give him any credit at all. But the man's amazing. He's 38 years old and still doing this. But there's criticism of that. He wades into politics, which is his right, but also the right of people to disagree with his politics. That's fair game. If you're going to enter that arena, you're going to get hit or you're not. Other people will like you more. Other people will like you less. One thing you can't criticize LeBron James for, and I found most admirable, and I met him when he was 16 years old, is his commitment to being a father. He grew up without one. And I've written a couple columns about this, but like let me read this quote. I wanted to be part of the statistics that breaks the mode of fathers running out on their kids. I knew from day one that wasn't going to be me. So to have a family and be there on a day-to-day basis is important. And he has done that for his 3 kids. Like, if anything, he's criticized for being too like wild at the AAU games. But
being a little league dad, basically.
Being the little league dad, right. He's all hyped up and everyone's watching, and he's enormous too. This is the other thing. When you put these NBA guys like out in the wild, it's like he's big. He looks big on the court, but you put him in like an AAU stand, a bunch of 5th graders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 6'8", 250, and here he comes. Yeah.
The ref is like, oh crap. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't remember now. But like, LeBron has been that great father, and it's a real college. And he noted this is the first person from his family to go to college because he didn't go.
Yeah.
And his wife Savannah didn't go. They knew each other and grew up. They went to high school. Didn't go. They started dating in high school. Went to different high schools. LeBron's turned out all right without the college degree. But he's kind of proud of that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
How often is going to be at USC games, by the way? I'm guessing he's going to try to like go to every game. He's going to be the star and overshadow. He's going to get all the TV time, and it's going to be interesting. Yeah, like Dan was saying about TV games. I mean, I would guess that a lot of networks will just televise the game to get a clip of the stands.
Yeah, he'll be sitting courtside, I am sure, when every game that he can when the Lakers are in town and they're not playing on the same night. But that's the thing. To your point there, Dan, USC basketball has been a chronic underachiever, and people there, you go to games and it is a morgue.
Yeah.
I went to a game last year and they were pretty good, and there weren't people there. They've got the, completely hyperactive DJ guy trying to hype people up, and it doesn't work. I mean, it's just not something that students there gravitate toward. And we all know there's 9 million other athletic teams and other things to do in Los Angeles. And USC basketball has been near the bottom of the pecking order, social list pecking order for a lot of people for a long time. This will help. This will certainly give them a bump. And yeah, from a national exposure standpoint, they'll be on TV a lot. And then the question is, yes, what is LeBron like courtside for the games? Because at the AAU games, he's there, which is really cool, but he's involved. I mean, he's not necessarily, sometimes I think I've seen him sitting in the stand, but other times he's been like on the bench and not afraid to stand up and give his input to his son or someone else too. So, I don't think that's going to be the way you're going to do it at USC, but what will his level of involvement be, and how does that recede? There were a lot of coaches, if you asked about Bronny, and maybe it was because most of them, well, obviously all of them but one weren't going to get him, but they were like, yeah, I just don't know, man, because it's going to create a circus, and I'm not sure he's the center ring act in a 3-ring circus, so... this will be a fascinating test, really, of just how it all comes together. But, Dan, I did want to emphasize your point. LeBron James has been a fantastic role model in about every possible way as a professional athlete, right? I can't think of any trouble he's necessarily been in. He's been a present family member and dad. He's been a spokesperson for people who want it and need it. So I think this is very cool for his son to have a chance to do this. I just hope his son can do it on his own merits and without having that hang over him. Like with Jeffrey Jordan, I think, played at UCF and, was Michael Jordan's kid. And, hopefully Jeffrey Jordan had a good experience, but it was still hard to be Michael Jordan's kid and just be a player.
Yeah. Yeah, like LeBron, the guy grew up single mom. They were homeless until he was in the 3rd grade and he went to live with a youth coach. He was so at 10 years old, they saw him playing. A football coach came by and got the kids in the in the park to try out. He's trying to get kids to play football, and LeBron, he couldn't believe LeBron was 10, and then he moved in with a family, and that's the first time he really had a house. They were moving all over. He missed like virtually his entire third grade because his mom couldn't get him to school each day. They were on the wrong side of Akron, and it's enormous amounts of dysfunction. And then he was a child star. His support system was terrible. You can imagine the hucksters and shysters that were around.
Ooh.
And in the end, he comes out, and again, he's this vocal and tremendous example of fatherhood. You've never been arrested. His biggest scandal is the decision, right?
Right.
When
Really,
Pat was talking, the only blemish is the decision that I could think
the
of.
decision. Yeah. Okay. Well, they still raised money for a thing. It wasn't a good idea, but that's the decision. And he hires his friends. He's married to his high school girlfriend. He's like, you'll see a million pictures of him coming out of the movies with his kids or at his kids' games. You don't see him at nightclubs and, now his politics. Yes, I get it. Some people don't like his politics, and you take that on, but I there's a venom to LeBron that I don't really like, because it's like, that's fine. You don't agree with his politics. Absolutely. That's fine. Don't agree with his politics, but he's not a bad guy. He's a really good guy. And considering child stardom, no support system, the dysfunction early in his life, enormous, the lack of everything, he's been amazing. And the funny thing about the decision, you kind of see the remnants of it in how this all went down. Much like Arch Manning, this recruitment was secretive. They told nobody anything. There were no interviews. He would say, hey, I was at Ohio State today. Great thing. That's it, right? This was under wraps. He made the announcement on the 6th of May. You literally have to commit to a college on May 1, just a regular student. Okay. So you couldn't address and they announce it. It's just an Instagram post of him in a USC uniform, says committed. That's it. It's like 30 minutes before the Kentucky Derby on a Saturday afternoon. Like, this is burying the news, right?
Yeah.
He could have done live on Sports Center, and you say, well, that's ridiculous. Shouldn't be doing live. Like, every 4-star recruit does one on live on Sports Center at noon, right?
Live on something, yeah.
Live on something. And he didn't do any of that. So you could see where they're like, hey, we don't need to promote.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need this. And I like that. That was, to me, a sign that LeBron totally gets it. And going to USC where they're not stupid. Where's you playing? You probably coming off the bench, and you might average 8 points a game. And it's really, if that's your scenario, you're probably not one and done. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but it's not, hey, how do I get to one and done? The recipe isn't, I'd like to go somewhere where there's a senior guard and the number one recruit in the country in front of me. So there's all of those things show a certain thing. The downside from what LeBron has done, and I think he's just excited. He just talked about it, but the whole bit where he said, I want to play with him in the NBA. And my dream is to play with him, and that's still the dream. And he goes, it's really up to my son. You, as a parent, you want something for your kids, but it's up to your kids, right? But that pressure, to me, was the one mistake LeBron's made on this, and to stick with it, because a guy who's 26, 30th in the country, projects as a 2-year NBA college player before the NBA. Now, if he's Isaiah Collier, you're like, yeah, sure, right? But he's not, and that's okay. Being the 26th ranked basketball player in the country is really amazing. But it's like, is that too much? Where it's like, well, he's gonna be one and done, and then we're gonna play together in 2 seasons now. So that's kind of my concern on that.
Yeah, it's all pressure.
I mean, yeah, look, LeBron did up the ante. It was a Sports Illustrated cover story. It was a really good story by Chris Ballard. And he said, I want to play with Bronny. And I believe there was a quote in there. I'm actually looking at it, trying to find it right now, where he said, I think Bronny's better than some players in the NBA right now. I don't think that's the case. So we need just a little bit of perspective. And there's been 4 million dads who have thought their kid was better than he was. But there's a little bit higher profile involved here. So
well, it's pressure.
Yeah, you're putting pressure on your son.
I mean, one and done. I mean, geesh. He said Saturday he hasn't really backed down. I would like to see LeBron. This is my advice, father to father, would be start downplaying this thing and saying, "Hey, man, we're just so excited he's going to college." Like he said, we're going to support him with whatever he decides to do. He kind of gets to it because that's my aspiration, playing together. And my goal doesn't mean it's his, and I am absolutely okay with it. My job is to support my son, whatever he wants to do. Again, LeBron's a great dad. LeBron's going to do fine. But this is the challenge of support your son. And the best thing you can do is be like, I hope he stays 4 years. Like, go the other route, you know?
Yeah, go the Cooper Manning route with Arch. I mean, Cooper, first of all, stayed out of it, and B, but they, I mean, like, totally tempered the expectations, and they would be fine if Arch Manning redshirts this next year. You know, there's been no talk of we need to see Arch play, or it's just like, hey, let that be a slow develop.
He's liable to redshirt too. Situation at Texas.
Yeah.
Given the situation at Texas. Yeah. He's liable to redshirt. You're right. I think it's the dad in LeBron, right? It's the guy you see at the AAU game screaming and yelling and all that. Sometimes you can't remove that I like to call it the baseball dad mentality of wanting to get involved in every play and involved so heavily in your son's or daughter's athletic career. But yeah, he probably should back away from that. I guess Bronny hasn't really said anything about when he wants to go to the NBA, or is this
doesn't say much
thing?
Anything?
Yeah,
he doesn't really do interviews. They had him talk to reporters at the McDonald's All-American game, and they had like someone there, and they let him talk. But no, they keep him smartly, just lay low. I just think for Bronny's sake, like, it's so hard being LeBron. It's great to be LeBron's son. It's hard to be LeBron's son, right? We're not gonna.
Yeah,
it's easier to be LeBron James Jr. at this age than LeBron James Sr. Coming up, right? So you have these supportive parents, you have all the resources. It's great, but everyone. We're talking about the 26th ranked basketball recruit in the country right now. I don't know who 25 is.
Or 27.
All right, or 27. We had never mentioned Isaiah Collier on this show. He's number one.
I was going to say, I was thinking, I don't really know who number one is.
Yeah. It's so, it's that, can he make it? Sure. But generally at those 30, you're in that area. And let's say he probably got a name bump, and he might have, or maybe he's improving, whatever. He just needs time. Let him play. I don't know. It's going to be it's a nice pop to the college season, though. College basketball. Always need stars. And I know this is kind of weird because he's not the star, but he attracts eyeballs and makes the game matter, a program matter in a big market. And then we watch the other guys, and they're the stars. Hey, this is all like Bronny in the NCAA tournament. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah.
They always ask the big. Go ahead, Ross.
No, that'd be no. I was just gonna say that'd be awesome, and I'm sure that we'd have quite a bit of shots of the crowd and of a certain famous father. But that'd be really cool.
The question was always if LeBron had gone to college. They didn't have the one and done then. Where would he go? And
didn't he always say Ohio State?
I thought he said something else so recently. Didn't he say Florida recently?
Duke. He used to say Duke sometimes.
He said Louisville some. Patino was at Louisville.
He says Ohio State was the big thing. If he had played football, he was going to go to Ohio State, I'm sure. So the most interesting thing to me was Keith Dambrot was his high school coach his first 2 years at St. Vincent St. Mary. He's now the basketball coach at Duquesne. And he told me that if LeBron had to go to college, he would have got him to Akron. He was going to take the whole team. He was going to take the whole team. And most of them went to Akron. And they actually made the NCAA tournament. I remember talking to LeBron about it. Like his buddies made the NCAA. He was so jacked up. He was going to take the whole team. LeBron loved Akron, right? Still does. Eventually left the Cavs, but like I said, he still lived in Akron, now in a mansion in Akron, not in, but everything about that guy is about Akron. And he said we would have got LeBron, Matt. So let's take Keith Dambrot, I don't doubt it, man. He's a charismatic guy. He's a very good coach.
Yeah.
He's now at Duquesne. Imagine if LeBron James in March Madness 2004, and like his 4 buddies from St. Vincent St. Mary's, who were all pretty good, were in the NCAA basketball tournament with Akron. How far would they have gone?
A long way. A long way. That would have been hilarious.
Would have been awesome.
Because, it's fun. Dambrot didn't get there till the next year, but if they could have gotten LeBron, I bet he would have gone. They would have hired him.
No, he was the assistant. He was the assistant.
Yeah, assistant coach. All right.
He says he's getting him. So Dambrot was at Central Michigan. He left there, and he went to. He was living in Akron, and he started doing youth clinics. He was going to become the St. Vincent St. Mary coach. Or maybe he was at St. Vincent St. Mary. I think he was at it. It was like LeBron started doing these clinics with him in like 6th grade or something. Yeah. He had the whole crew, all of LeBron's guys. And they started doing these like dribbling clinics, and it was like and I think I remember the story being like LeBron and his family were like, this is great. This like really like Division I basketball coach is like working with us on like dribbling skills, and we're like 12, right? And it's like, well, yeah, Dambrot's not an idiot. He's almost coming. So I'm hooking myself to this guy. So then he gets the St. Vincent St. Mary job, and he gets LeBron to come to St. Vincent St. Mary because he could have gone to I think it's Bucknell is the public school, and there was a big controversy.
Yeah, that's where his wife went.
Yeah, that was a huge controversy in Akron, in the west side of Akron. And he goes to St. Vincent St. Mary's with Dambrot. And then Dambrot moves to Akron. He swears, well, I don't know to this day. I haven't talked to Keith Dambrot in a while, but we would have got him. I think that would have been one of the most fun stories. Like Curry took Davidson to the Final 8.
Right.
But nobody knew who Curry was. LeBron.
Curry was just, Curry was not a physical freak of nature like LeBron at a young age. And so I was looking, that Drew Joyce and Romeo Travis were LeBron's guys from Akron who were in the same class who went there, and they were good. Akron was good.
He knew the other guys too. Like he knew some of the others, and then he would have brought somebody, right? Like,
sure.
It wouldn't just been the Akron guy. Some top 20 player would have been like, I'll go with him. Whoever the heck that is at that time, I mean, go. I would love to see one of these guys at some point do that. And I get why they don't, but it would be really cool if like that was the case. Just I'm doing my hometown. I mean, Amani Bates tried it this year with Eastern Michigan, and they won like 4 games. So, but that's more Amani Bates. I don't think LeBron would have had that problem.
No,
but
Amani Bates' career has been horribly managed.
It's not been well managed. Turned pro anyway. Yeah, turned pro anyway. Anyway, that's our LeBron James update for the day. I think. I don't know. Should be fun. Pat, I heard you ran into or talked to Jim Harbaugh, Coach Harbaugh. We always like a good Jim Harbaugh story. How was it?
Oh, yeah. And that's classic Jim Harbaugh. Absolutely classic. So this was a PR pitch that was put out that Harbaugh and Wolverine boots have a little in common with the Michigan Wolverines. Wolverine boots made in Michigan, work boots.
NIL,
helping,
guardrails. Can't use the school name. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's all right. They were promoting opportunities for skilled trade workers through trade schools. And so the pitch, Jim Harbaugh partners with Wolverine and Skills USA. And they were going to attend a signing day event for skills trade school people. And the point being, look, we need people that go through trade schools. We need plumbers and construction workers and auto mechanics, et cetera, obviously, to make the country go. And nobody celebrates when you go to a trade school, but maybe you should, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. Just kind of raise awareness of trade school opportunities. So get Harbaugh on the phone, and it's a typical thing where you get these pitches and the parameters are where he's only talking about this. So don't ask him about football. Don't ask about other stuff. And, so you play ball for 3 questions or so, and then you try your best to change the subject. But before I even got to football, I asked Harbaugh one question that he liked, and I think, Dan, you will like his answer. It will resonate with you. I said, Jim, if you hadn't gone to become a quarterback and a coach, and that's thing he said his dad told all of them, when you turn 18, you will either go to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, or the military. It's up to you. You go figure it out. So he obviously became a famous football player and a famous coach. But I said, if you'd gone to trade school, what would have been your trade? He immediately shoots back, a lawnsman.
Oh,
I would have mowed lawns and landscaped. And he said that he still does. That's one of his passions today is mowing the lawn. And we know Dan, people listeners of the podcast know that it is one of Dan Wetzel's passions. So apparently if you live in Michigan, you really, really like mowing your lawn. He said that it's his big escape, gets away from the stress of the day, zones out, comes up with a few play calls and ideas and stuff while he's mowing the lawn. He did succumb to middle age and get a riding mower recently, but he says he's still out there mowing the grass in Ann Arbor.
Do I have a new best friend?
I think you do. You guys can get together and compare mowers.
All right.
Wow.
Let me say, all these Northerners, okay, from Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, they always rave about their beautiful lawns and they love to mow the lawn. And I'm like, you mow your lawn up there for 3 months out of the year. Try doing it for 11 months out of the year in the South, and you won't like it anymore. All right. We don't like to mow our lawns in the South because we do it almost every damn month. All right. And I remember being a kid and my dad like forcing me to mow our lawn because he hated it. And of course, I hated it.
Brett Favre loved it. I wrote a column about Brett Favre and his lawn mowing. His nephew took over his lawn mowing when he moved to Minnesota, and he was really upset about it and really anxious. And this was before like cell phone like photos, but he was getting photos like mailed to him. It is
in the mail, physical photos in the mail of his lawn.
Yeah. He was really like he was checking in on them and stuff. It was really funny.
Wow.
Brett and I bonded as lawn enthusiasts. And I get it. You don't want anyone else mowing your lawn.
Oh, I do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you care about it, it's your lawn. It's like you want to mow your own lawn. You're antsy about it. How's it going? It's not going to be right. There's that one patch you gotta. So I've actually seen like videos of people seeing Harbaugh mowing his lawn and laughing about it. I think Tressel used to mow his lawn too.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I think Tressel. There was some video of like the day after a game, in Columbus, and it's like Sunday morning, and Tress is out there, with his mower.
Did he have the vest and the tie on, or just?
Yeah, he might have had the vest. There was one of Harbaugh mowing his lawn. Remember when they did the video where he went on vacation and his kids made fun of him as like vacation dad, and he's like carrying 6 bags and like all the things, walking ahead of everyone because you got to haul these people through the airport. Everything he did, but one of it was he mowed his lawn at the last second because they were going to be away for the week. so he didn't want. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Jim Harbaugh lawn services.
This you need to go to like Michigan Football Media Day in August and just have a long conversation with him about lawn mowing techniques. But to Ross's point is a good one. You know, it's a good one that, yes, if you only have to mow 3 or 4 months a year, it's a little bit different. And my growing up lawn mowing experience, while not as elongated throughout the year, but was similar, where my dad hated doing it, told me to do it, and then micromanaged me doing it. You got to do it this way. Oh, you missed that over there. What's this over here? You know, so
you missed this patch. You missed that patch. Meanwhile,
I carried no love of mowing the lawn.
95 degrees and 90% humidity.
Yeah, I think that's the point I will concede to Ross is mowing the lawn in July in the Gulf Coast, where he grew up in Mississippi,
or June, or August, or early September. Or back half of May sometimes. Yeah.
Sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And we do get a break, but we get excited when it's like a thing, right? It's like golf season and lawn mowing. It's like, here we are. Spring has sprung. Let's get out there.
Have you mowed yet? Mowed yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple mows in. Haven't done the mulch yet, but I've mowed a few times. Mowed yesterday. Yeah, it was good. Enjoy it.
How was it? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's a good mow.
It's a
good mow. Very good.
Nobody bothers you when you're mowing the lawn.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you might get thrown into some work. They know better. Kids know better. Stay away from them.
Yeah. That's actually one other thing. Harbaugh stopped just short of calling it the decline of American society, but he says he hates to drive around the neighborhood and see like these lawn service companies now instead of seeing the kids out there mowing the grass themselves. He doesn't want to see the paid companies coming in.
I've had kids come by to want to help rake leaves or whatever. I'll just hire them, even though I'm going to do it too. Yeah,
I don't have a lawn. Obviously, living right in the middle of DC, I don't have a lawn. I do have a patio with mostly granite patio, but there's some spots of grass, and I mulched earlier or last week. I did some mulch and planted some new plants and pots and all that stuff. So that's all I got. But I do like to do my own patio because I live in a complex, and so we have our own like kind of private patio, and then there's all this community space for everybody else. And they send like lawn people over to do the mulch and the plants, and I'm like, please stay off my patio. It's done. Please don't touch my patio.
There you go.
It's your fiefdom.
One day you'll be back down the Gulf Coast, and you'll be mowing. You'll get in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Me, Harbaugh, and Brett Favre. That's all we got, but that's all right.
There you go.
It's all right. I'm the only guy in my neighborhood that mows his own lawn. Like all my neighbors. Maybe one of them is. I don't know. Yeah. Most of them, service. And you tell someone from like California you mow your own lawn, and from LA, they think I don't.
Well, out there they're like, "What's a lawn?"
They have it.
They have the fake artificial turf out there.
I know. Yeah. You're not allowed to water half the time.
Right.
Plus now I don't think they're going to let the banning of the power mowers is scaring me. I'm skeptical of these electric mowers. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not.
We have an electric mower at our cabin, and it's the battery runs out pretty quick.
It's not as strong.
This calls for a ride along with Harbaugh, by the way. A ride along.
Oh yeah,
Dan ride along with Harbaugh at the lawn.
Yes. Tandem mowers.
Yes,
I'll do a whole story on Harbaugh and his mower. Story. I really will. We rail against electric mowers. So like they had a electric mower review, but it was in the New York Times, and it was claiming it was just as good. And I'm like, I don't believe this. I don't believe anyone at the New York Times mows their own lawn. I was like, fake news.
There's no lawns in Manhattan.
Well, they're like this mower's just as good. I've mowed tons of lawns. This is what the guy was writing, and maybe it was true or not, but it was just like, I'm not believing this. I want to see like, I don't know what, but it's got to be like a lawnmower Reddit thread out there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Gotta get. Anyway, Big 12 is always innovative. Couple things lately. They're thinking of playing football games in Mexico City. possible move to go, I don't know, play in Mexico City. I'm never a fan of taking games away, like home games away from fans, but I mean, we see people play in Ireland and things like that. We obviously see, tons of neutral site regular season games. So there's that. And then they're exploring a plan to modernize the broadcast. This is from Ross. Of its football games, live in-game interviews, more access to locker rooms before and after game, recording live audio of its coaches before the game and beyond. What's that about, Ross?
Yeah, all this stuff kind of came out last week in Scottsdale at conference meetings. I think they were discussed. Brett Yormark, the commissioner, discussing with coaches and athletic directors in their meetings out there. The Mexico thing has been brewing for quite some time. Even as far back as the fall, he had AD meetings where they discussed it. And then Brett Yormark actually visited Mexico City about 3 weeks ago. So they're talking about playing a football game in Monterrey, in basketball games in Mexico City. The football game would be a lot more difficult. Obviously, there's a lot more people involved with the football team. Everybody's got to have passports, just like the travel down there and everything. It just... it would be a little more complicated. So I'll believe that one when I see it. But basketball, I think that's more doable. As far as the game broadcast, I think we've seen this from the NFL a little bit. We've seen it from some other sports, like non-football sports, just having a more interactive, modernized type of game broadcast, and it was talked about at length in the Big 12 conference meetings. And actually, I didn't find out this until I wrote that story, but I did. It was talked about at length with the college football playoff leaders in Dallas a few weeks ago. ESPN came in and did a presentation, and this was part of the presentation was more innovative type of creative broadcasting that includes maybe some in-game interviews of playoff games, actually during CFP playoff games. So this could be coming in a wide areas from CFP to other conferences, but Big 12 talked about it at length, and Brett Yormark commented, I think, after the meetings were over a little bit about it. He's got a lot of ideas. Some of them are probably not doable. Some of them are against NCAA rules, but he has quite a bit of ways that he wants to market the Big 12. And right now, he wants to market the Big 12 in a way to attract new members. I think that's what's going on right now. That was the weird kind of dynamic in Scottsdale at the conference meetings, right? Is the Big 12 athletic directors and coaches met basically 25 feet away from where the Pac-12 ADs and coaches met for 2 or 3 days. And obviously those two leagues right now are in a way, sparring a little bit and in a battle for territory, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you get when you hire a guy like Brett Yormark, is you're going to get some outside-the-box thinking. And college athletics has largely thought within a box for a long time. So, yeah, some of this stuff might be good ideas. Some might be bad ideas. There have been, a handful of overseas games before, as Dan mentioned, the Ireland games. You go back 1979, Notre Dame and Miami of Florida played in Tokyo. So things have been a lot harder. Things logistically have been done, I would think, than getting two teams from Texas or Oklahoma down to Mexico City for a game. The idea of adding in-game interviews does what to help the broadcast specifically? Nothing. That's just doing something to say you're doing something. It's like if you've got a Christmas tree that's already packed with all this stuff, and you're like, wait a minute, I have a neon reindeer we need to make room for on here because it's new and different. Doesn't mean it helps the tree. Doesn't mean it helps the presentation. So I find in-game interviews almost, and it's hard to do. I will say this: I will defend sideline reporters. That job is much harder than almost everybody thinks it is, but it doesn't mean that you're producing great insight or great television. And I don't think more interviews would do that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, these XFL, USFLs, they have create sometimes some cutting edge things. Nothing bigger than the camera that they can run up and down the field, right? I think that was an XFL creation. The in-game interviews, though, I don't know what you're getting. I mean, it's terrifying enough trying to get basically a no comment. We have to run the ball better and defend from Nick Saban at halftime when he knows he has to do it, than sticking a mic in it. Like, what's he going to say in the middle of the game?
Right.
And the players aren't going to, especially college. It's not like that they're going to be like WWE where they're going to like really talk trash on the broadcast. I don't even know if NFL guys would do that. The NHL tries everything. They have their their analyst often down between the two benches, and Emily Kaplan is their reporter, and she goes onto the bench and talks to the coaches.
Yeah.
And she tries. She's very good, actually. Very good sideline reporter. She's learned how to say thank you in every language in the NHL. It's like her gimmick. And the players get all excited because she says them like whatever the hell they speak in Estonia or something. But like, you can see the coaches are so tense and they're trying not to be rude, and she's trying to be very open. Like, it's hard. Like, what do you need to do better? You're losing 4-0 right now. Well, we got to, like, I don't know what you get out of it. I just don't. I don't know. I feel it's tough. I think the camera angles and stuff like that are better than.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't know what there is left to do to jazz up a broadcast, and more interviews of people who are trying to do their job in the middle of it doesn't seem like that's going to be a way to help.
I mean, if they were legitimately talk about like just a bad call that just happened, but why are they going to do that? And they're on to the next thing. Like, they're so focused, right. But I mean, what's the key to winning a football game? No turnovers, control the ball.
Yeah.
Play good D. I mean, I don't blame them for saying that. It's true.
No, I would not welcome that. Like, it was actually Saturday night. I'm grinding over my Derby story, and a couple of guys that I know somehow got into the press room after having like 900 beers and losing all their money. They come over like, hey, man, like, so what's the story? What are you writing? And I'm just I'm glaring at him like, go away. Right now the story's crappy and you're not helping. That's the sideline coach getting interviewed.
In-game interview with Pat Forde.
Yeah,
wouldn't go well.
Mid-writing interview. I'm sure that went well. That would go really well. Get the F out of my face.
Right.
All right, let's get to this one. We have a whodunit in New Jersey. One of the stranger stories I've ever seen. Old Bridge, New Jersey, I guess is the name of the town. Someone dumped, there's a little like walkway by a creek in Old Bridge. Sounds like a nice place. And someone running for like city council was out going door to door to meeting her potential voters. And this woman said, well, we have a huge problem here, and took her down to where that happened. And by this little creek, this is from NJ.com, an estimated 500 pounds of cooked pasta had been dumped near a stream in Old Bridge last week. There's ziti, macaroni, and spaghetti. You see these pictures? There's mounds of spaghetti. It's like, like someone, like a pile of leaves. Someone, and they kind of like maybe backed a truck up and dumped. I don't know what. Why? What?
Olive Garden got ransacked. What?
Is that your suspect? First off,
Olive Garden.
A, why, and B, where the hell do you have 500 pounds of extra cooked pasta? What is going on?
This is New Jersey now. Hold on. There's like how many? Like, isn't there a fairly large Italian population in New Jersey?
Oh,
yes. Saying, okay.
I mean, it makes more sense in Old Bridge. Yes.
There are a lot of there are a lot of suspects here.
This ain't Lubbock.
Yeah.
500 pounds?
That's a lot.
Look at these pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Mountains
Old
of
Bridge,
pasta.
New Jersey is shockingly named after a old bridge. That's really cool
Yeah.
looking. It looks old, very old. Yeah. Look at there.
This would make more sense to me if it was like behind an empty warehouse, abandoned warehouse in Newark or something like that. Like they went to like this nice neighborhood and dumped five. I'm baffled. I'm baffled. Is this even human? Is this maybe this is the aliens we were talking about? I don't. What is going on, Pat? I need your bring some clarity to this situation.
I think an Olive Garden went out of business suddenly, and they just went to the river and said, "Here's all the stuff we've been cooking. Boom, throw it out." I don't know. Pasta gone rogue was not a storyline I expected to come across here today. But that's the podcast for you, by God. I appreciate the hustle and whoever came up with the story. But this clearly we've got a fugitive from justice who's overcooked a lot of pasta and needs to be identified, prosecuted, jailed, perhaps deported.
I'm still I'm off the story and I'm more on to Old Bridge, New Jersey, which
Nobody cares about the pasta mystery.
was a contender for the title of one of the best places to live in the United States by Money Magazine in 2005 and 2007. 25 miles outside of New York City is Old Bridge, New Jersey, and so there could be a lot of suspects here. You know, I think there could be mafia involvement. I'm just saying, maybe mafia involvement.
Really, Sopranos, bada
Something
bang.
like that.
For sure.
Not
For
dumping.
sure.
No, instead of dumping bodies, dumping pasta. It's too
Old
bad
Bridge is
the
a nice-
pasta wasn't dumped off of the old bridge into the water.
Yeah.
You know?
That
There
would
you
have
go.
made it.
That'd have been a lot better.
Fish would have been
piles
happy.
of pasta in this very shallow river under the old bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, and one more in terms of massive amounts of food, if you want to call it that. An American or Americans were caught smuggling 450 pounds into Israel of fruit roll-ups.
Really?
Yeah, according to the Times of Israel.
This was illegal to bring fruit roll-ups into Israel?
Yeah. So what happened was Israel has, I believe, banned fruit roll-ups because sugar consumption has been found to be associated with weight gain. A variety of related diseases are attributed to sugar consumption, such as cardiovascular. I mean, clearly the fruit roll-up is not the fruit part is a misnomer. So
This goes back to the great Pop-Tart lawsuit. Yeah.
yeah, apparently, according to this is Food and Wine, fruit roll-ups were in short supply in Israel, and the black market has has stepped up to understand how high the demand in the market is, how great the shortage is, and to realize human stupidity really has no limit. It's enough to just glance at the news that came from the airport, and there it was. Someone tried to smuggle 450 pounds of fruit roll-up in through suitcases. One couple was caught with 375 pounds of the candy, and another one was 72. And in a couple different incidents, we're now up to 650 pounds of fruit roll-ups has been caught at the border.
Wow. Your border guard money at work, Israel. There you go. Stop
I mean,
the
there's
fruit
video
roll-up.
of this thing.
Should have built that wall.
They literally had suitcase. It's not. I mean, they take the border seriously in Israel. You're getting a
Well,
fruit
they do.
roll-up in. Like it's not even like, I don't know. Like it's literally just the wrapped up fruit roll-ups. Fruit roll-ups, are they? I don't. They kind of suck.
Well, yeah, they're not.
I haven't had a fruit roll-up in a long, long time.
It's been a while.
No.
I used to eat them a lot when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I remember at some point I stopped because they just got stuck to. They just stick to your mouth, you know. Like you're digging all
It
in
is
your teeth to
definite
get the
roof
fruit
of the
roll-up
mouth.
out. When you're like
Issue,
9,
yeah.
that's okay, but when when you're 30, it could be a problem. Digging all in your teeth for fruit roll-up. So
The Israeli Health Ministry suggested cucumber rolls as an alternative. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
That's
my gosh,
somebody
my
who's never
wife
had a
needs to go to
6-year-old.
work. Yeah, my wife needs to go to work for the Israeli ministry. She would be in favor of that. But I mean, are we being a little bit too regulatory here when we're worried about the sugar from fruit roll-ups? Can we? Do we need to ban that? I think there are probably worse substances being ingested in Israel. I don't know.
Oh, I guess they're putting ice cream in their fruit roll-ups.
Okay.
Ice cream filled fruit roll-ups is what's making them popular. Okay. I did not know this. So
They're
you take a
rolling up
fruit
ice cream
roll-up.
in the fruit roll-up?
Yeah. I guess it's a TikTok sensation.
Okay.
Oh,
That might be
TikTok.
better than ice cream would make anything better.
Yeah.
Somebody is sitting in an Israeli prison right now, which I'm guessing isn't a lot of fun.
No.
Doesn't sound
For
like
trying to sneak fruit roll-ups in.
TikTok threatening to undermine the health of Israel. Here we go.
Yeah, there's zero tolerance. I don't know. Anyway, I'm watching this video now of someone putting ice cream inside the fruit roll-up. Let's see how it goes here.
Yeah,
How would you even do that? You put scoops.
Yeah.
Rolled out the fruit
rolled it
roll-up,
out, and
basic
then you roll it out.
unfolded. She has mango ice cream. What?
And
Okay.
you like smash it down flat and
I'm
roll it
watching.
back up.
She's making it. She's putting the scoop in the fruit roll-up. It's pretty much how you'd think. And
Yeah.
she rolls it up, and
Like a
that's it.
Chipotle burrito, or is that?
Yeah, it's like a
kind of the
burrito.
deal? Okay.
Strawberry and the and now she's eating it. I love the crunch, she said. Okay. I don't know. Well, thank
What's
God we
crunchy?
live in America where you still have the freedom to eat fruit roll-ups. Love it or
You
leave
don't
it.
you're not going to get arrested here for carrying around fruit roll-ups.
God
Congratulations.
bless America. God bless fruit roll-ups and mango ice cream, I guess. I wouldn't do it with the mango. Anyway, we're out of topics. We'll be back later this week with more. Appreciate everyone listening. Continue to subscribe. Leave us nice reviews. We will talk to you later.